What is up, bros and broettes? I'm MX Slasher, and today we have another episode of Versus in front of us. Today, we have the DLC weapon, the MX Garand, which is a semi-automatic assault rifle that was hard to get out for some reason, versus the Man-O-War. Now, the Man-O-War, by a lot of people, is considered to be one of the best guns in the game, so it's going to be interesting to see how these two deal head-to-head. So what I want you to do right now is go down in the comment section, and before the video even starts, write which one you think will win. What one do you think is a better weapon? Now, I know a lot of you may not have got to use the MX Garand, me being one of those people, hence why you're not seeing MX Garand gameplay, you're seeing Man-O-War gameplay. I don't got one. So, you can also let me know that in the comment section below if you want to, but I want to hear what one you think is going to win before I even start talking about stats. Just use your common knowledge, what you've been able to pick up while using either of these weapons, and tell me what one you think is better down in the comment section below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and see which one of these weapons is actually better number-wise. So, by the way, this gameplay you're watching right here, this is some pretty badass Man-O-War gameplay. I think I only die once in this entire game, so I drop a lot of kill streaks. It's a really good one. But if you enjoy the video, hit me up with a like rating. It really helps with the channel, really helps with the series. So, if you're into that kind of thing, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could hit that like button. Let's see how many likes we can get on this video. So, without further ado, let's get into looking at the damage. Now, the damage on these two weapons is pretty high for both of them, actually, for a couple of reasons. First of all, one of them is a semi-automatic assault rifle, like I said, but the other one, the reason why I chose to put these two weapons head to head is both actually have a pretty slow fire rate. So when looking at the MX Garand, we have a damage profile of 60 damage up close, which is the highest out of all the assault rifles, 55 at mid-range, and 49 at extreme long range. Whereas the Man-O-War just is 40 damage up close and 30 at extreme long range. So overall, both are extremely high damage, but obviously the MX Garand is the higher damage weapon, especially because for extremely long range can actually deal a 2-bullet kill, which is one of the 2 assault rifles that can actually do that, the other being the Shiva. By the way, the reason why I didn't choose to do the Man-O-War versus the Shiva is because we've actually done the Shiva versus the MX Garand before, and the MX Garand came out on top. So we're taking the better of that one and comparing it to the Man-O-War in this one. So, what do I have to say about that? Since the MX Garand so consistently gets a 2-bullet kill, obviously has the better damage profile, therefore getting plus 1 point. So as far as ranges go, sometimes we compare ranges and sometimes we don't, because most of the time they just reinforce the damage profile, so there's really no point in giving out a stat for them. Sometimes though, it does it does the opposite, or does super reinforce the damage profile. In this case, it just enforces what we already know. The MX Garand has a really good 2-bullet kill range, and the Man-O-War has a really good 3-bullet kill range, changing really nothing we know about the damage profile. But if you'd like to know for your information, the Man-O-War kills for a 3-bullet kill up to 1,500 in-game units, aka 37.5 meters, which is a solid range. If you throw a long barrel on that, it doubles, so long barrel is a very good attachment on there. On the MX Garand, it deals a 2-bullet kill up to 2,000 in-game units, aka 50 meters, which again is an extremely long range. So you're pretty much with both of these weapons, with the Man-O-War, it's always going to be a 3-bullet kill. With the MX Garand, it's always going to be a 2-bullet kill. Almost always. Alright, so moving to the next most important stat, that would be fire rate. Now, fire rate is interesting on these weapons because they both have extremely low fire rates. When looking at the MX Garand, it has a 300 RPM, which is about 50 faster than the Shiva, and is basically the main reason why the MX Garand is actually better than the Shiva. The Man-O-War, however, has a 517 RPM fire rate, which is actually a lot better. So, looking at that, it's 217 RPM better, so obviously that's a huge plus for the Man-O-War, and giving it plus 1 point, and ties her up at 1-to-1. Alright, so time to kill is one that's very important with both of these weapons, and this one's interesting because it actually changes based on the range, like we talked about earlier, and what it turns out to be is that it's pretty evenly split. Up close, when the MX Garand is dealing 60 damage, it actually has a better time to kill. But when any other time the Man-O-War has such a fast fire rate compared to the MX Garand, that it's dealing a better time to kill. So overall, I'm not going to give out any points there. It's mainly based on how good your accuracy with these two weapons is. Since it's such a low bullets to kill, it's mainly based on accuracy, and it will depend on the player so heavily, I'm not going to give out any points for this. Getting down into the nitty-gritty, the smaller stats, the things that really will make the difference. Generally speaking, when we do these versus videos, it's not generally the damage and the fire rate that make the difference, because generally they're opposite. One has a better damage profile, one has a better fire rate, exactly like this case. It's generally the nitty-gritty, the stats like that you need to know that really make the weapons better. So first of all, magazine size. This one should be obvious to you guys. The MX Garand has the smallest, by far the smallest magazine size out of any of the assault rifles at 8. Yes, 8, whereas the Man-O-War has a 30-round magazine. Now, a 30-round magazine isn't amazing by any means, but that's the same as almost all of the other assault rifles except for the M8A7. Now, I wouldn't normally give it a point for this because of the difference in fire rate and how fast you're going to go through the ammo. However, the MX Garand, to reload, you actually have to fire through all the bullets, so that's another negative to do with the magazine size. So because of that, we are going to give the Man-O-War +1 point, and it takes the lead. So really, that is the only stat on the MX Garand that's actually bad. The fact that you have to shoot all the bullets out of the gun to then reload it. It just kind of adds to the hassle of the weapon. However, the other stats are so good on the weapon, it really does make up for it. They had to add a caveat to make the weapon a little bit worse. For example, it had a wicked damage profile with a better fire rate than the Shiva, and now when we look at some of these nitty-gritty stats, you'll see exactly what I mean. One of these examples is actually the reload speed. The reload speed for the MX Garand is 2.1 seconds. Now that doesn't seem amazing, but that's always, because remember, the magazine is empty, and normally with every other weapon, when the magazine is empty, it takes longer to reload. So for most of the other assault rifles, it's 2.03 seconds, which is actually faster, but for the Man-O-War reloads at 2.23 seconds and 2.9 seconds when the magazine is empty. So in every single case, the MX Garand is actually reloading faster than the Man-O-War, giving it another +1 point. Alright, so generally speaking, when looking at the assault rifles, for the most part, as far as the nitty-gritty stats go, they generally all have very similar stats, except for one. Generally, like, one stat is a little bit worse than all the other guns, and this is no exception for the Man-O-War. The Man-O-War actually has the worst-in-class aim-down sights time, which makes sense, because it has a decent fire rate with a really good damage profile, so they needed to make up for it somehow. The way they did it, one of the ways at least, is the aim-down sights time. The aim-down sights time is 0.3 seconds. Every other weapon in the assault rifle class aim-down sights in 0.25 seconds, including the MX Garand. So the Man-O-War aims down sights 0.05 seconds slower than the MX Garand, therefore giving the MX Garand another +1 point. So there's two stats we have to look at left, and these stats are view kick and hip spread. Now, the view kick, I'm not going to give out any points for because, first of all, the view kick is very different on both weapons. I would say probably the Man-O-War has more view kick, to be honest. However, they're such different weapons in that one's a semi-automatic and one's fully automatic, and the way people will handle them is completely different. And I would just feel kind of wrong handing out points for that, so I'm not going to. However, we are going to hand out points for hip spread. In fact, the hip spread for the Man-O-War is pretty damn average for assault rifles. It's 3.5 inches when at the minimum, so when you're not moving, it's 3.5 inches, and when you are moving, the maximum size is 7 inches. This is for a lot of assault rifles. That's not an uncommon hip spread size. However, the MX Garand has an amazing hip spread. There's actually only one weapon better than it. It's the HVK, and the HVK actually kind of handles more like a SMG than an assault rifle in many ways, like fire rate, hip spread, that kind of stuff. However, the MX Garand definitely behaves like an assault rifle with its high damage and low fire rate, definitely like an assault rifle. So for it to have a low hip spread at 3.5 inches up close, just like the Man-O-War, or not up close, when you're not moving, and when you are moving, its maximum size is 5.5 inches. Now, that's like the size of an SMG hip spread at the maximum. So there's a very, very good hip spread for the MX Garand, therefore giving it +1 more point, and that's the last thing we have to talk about for today. So what does this mean? This means the MX Garand is going to be the winner this week. That is huge. I was surprised by this one. I legitimately thought the Man-O-War was going to be a better weapon. In my hands, I think the Man-O-War probably would be a better weapon, but I guess it's just that super high damage profile, and it has some pretty damn good nitty-gritty stats too. So I was impressed by this one. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Did the gun you pick win? Let me know down there. If you enjoyed the video, like I said earlier, let's see how many like ratings we can get on this thing. It's really appreciated when you guys hit that like button. And let me tell you, the like ratio I get on my videos is amazing. It blows me away, so thank you guys so much. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I upload new videos every single day of the week except for Sunday. And thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Check out my Twitter, link in the description. And until next time, guys, peace out.